Happy Saturday! Welcome to the show. You're about to see another commercial glue down carpet. We do an amazing job. Myself, Cole, and Lyndin just roll out all the tricks and all the tools and clean this job. You're going to really enjoy it. Make sure you stay tuned to the end though, because you're not going to want to miss the water that came out of our truck mount after we dumped. It is, let's just say it is nasty. Spoiler alert, it's nasty. Saturday, February 8th. This is Daily Vlog episode number 41. I'm your host. My wife Angela and I own A1 Carpet Care. My name is Dan Udy, and I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Mash that thumbs up, leave a comment below of your favorite part, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell, notification bell all, so you get notified every single day we drop a new vlog. Thank you for watching.
Step number 1, removal of all dry soil. We are doing commercial vacuuming. Unfortunately, Lyndin forgot his hat, so he is pimping the do-rag, but Cole and Lyndin are doing commercial vacuuming. Cole has the workhorse vacuum and Lyndin has the Pro Team. So while they did that, I basically just set up the camera to shoot and I started to prepare the hoses, and you can see me bringing in the counter-rotating brush machine, which we use to agitate the preconditioner into the face yarn of the carpet. In addition to that, I'm also preparing to mix up the preconditioner itself and bring that in. We use the Butler truck-mounted machine, and we had a very, very short hose run. As you can probably see the van, you can see the door of it. In the very top right, it's right, literally right outside this location, which is 121 North Lee Street, Kingsland, Georgia. The financial services company is Modern Woodmen, actually a fraternal organization that's been around since 1883. Fraternal organization, what does that mean, you say? Well, several things, one of which I've come to learn is basically they are the credit union of financial services, in that this is not a publicly owned company. You can't buy shares of this on the stock exchange, but when you become a member of Modern Woodmen, you actually own a little piece of the company. The managing partner of this firm is Miss Lisa James, and she is a proud member of BNI with us in our Camden County chapter, in addition to Tammy Youngblood, who also is a member of BNI and works in her office. Tammy holds the life insurance seat for BNI, and Miss Lisa James holds the financial services seat, which you can only actually, each chapter can only have one person per profession in each chapter, so kind of a neat way we participate with BNI. BNI is the largest and most effective referral organization in the world, and we have been members of 2 different chapters now for several months and have really, really enjoyed our work with that. So this is downtown Kingsland, Georgia. This is 656 square feet, so not a real big area, and you can see I'm starting to put down the preconditioner. We did charge 30 cents a square foot to clean this commercial glue down carpet, so the price came to $196.80. And Lisa, when she went to pay, I didn't even realize this until just now, I owe Lyndin and Cole $10 because she tipped 10%, which brought the total to $216.48. Again, this took us about 45 minutes, a pretty quick job. When she moved into this office, the walls, she said, were Pepto-Bismol pink, but she painted it. It looks really, really good. And actually last month we were able, last month the Chamber and Lisa was able to host the Business After Hours. Had a great event with almost 90 people in attendance for this small of an area. And you are not seeing part of it, which is the tile and grout in the back. And we had people out front as well. But again, this small of an area, that was a lot of people in attendance for this. So after I got done applying the soap-free detergent or preconditioner, you can see Cole immediately started to agitate that into the face yarn. And then as soon as that was done, or actually before that was done, we started to do the hot water extraction or steam cleaning portion, which I'm doing right now, and it turned out really, really good. The carpet in the video actually doesn't look very bad, but this carpet probably hadn't been cleaned in over a decade, and there were several spots, all of which came out. There were some bleach spot repairs that we didn't end up fixing at this time, but I did let Lisa know that's something we could do in the future. This job was a great example of how much we enjoy working in teams. I will be honest, my intention in going was really just to video, but I noticed that once we set up the tripod, the camera stabilization looked really, really good, just kind of leaving it. Had great angles, good lighting, so I decided to help. And again, we love to work in teams, mostly because, yes, we are able to get the job done a little bit quicker, more efficiently, but mostly because it's just a lot more fun to have more people. And so early on, I remember thinking that probably because of the military, that I would love to work with somebody, even though most of the jobs, especially in the beginning, I could easily do by myself. So right from the very beginning, back in 2008, I talked one of my best friends into helping me out part-time. I was able to call up my dad, who at the time lived in Colorado and worked for Home Depot, and he was actually a department manager, and I was able to convince him to come on out and help me get started. And my dad worked with me for several months while I was still active duty Navy. And then years later, as the company grew more, Angela and I had a baby, and then my mom and dad actually came out and moved out here. And my dad transferred with Home Depot initially, but very shortly thereafter he came on board and worked with A1 Carpet Care for many, many years. He's since then retired, and now, I think I've mentioned in other vlogs, he owns a stump grinding business that keeps him about as active as he wants to be. He doesn't do a whole lot of stumps, and that's perfectly fine with him, but enough for him to get out and about and interact with people. My dad is really, really good with people, customer service, and so it's probably a really good thing that he's still engaged in serving the public in some capacity. So here you can see we're just making our way through this small office and taking our time to do good slow strokes and also dry strokes to make sure that we pulled as much of the moisture out of this particular carpet as possible. We always like to leave the shortest dry time available, but the managing partner, Miss Lisa James, normally admitted right before we left that she actually leaves the AC off normally, but I did talk her into leaving that on because that also will speed up the dry time in most cases. And a lot of people do ask what's the dry time, and it really does depend on the type of cleaning we do, the level of soiling, and also, of course, the type of fiber. But usually I respond by telling them that it depends mostly upon the airflow, temperature, and humidity, and usually can vary somewhere between 4 and 8 hours. Of course, we do have dry times of some types of fiber and types of cleaning that's a lot shorter than that, but standard homes, commercial jobs that we do, it usually does range somewhere between 4 and 8 hours. Here you can clearly see Lyndin bringing in a spotter. This is actually a solvent, and unfortunately we were not 100% successful with removing that stain, but we did make a pretty big improvement. So there you saw Amber leave the office. That's another young lady that works with Lisa and Tammy in this office, and she actually visited our chapter, and it was really nice to have her out as well. Lisa has a great team of people working with her, just like we do, and it's just a pleasure to have her in our BNI chapter now. One thing I do regret not having was some cones we could have put outside, like hazard cones or something, where we had the hoses. You can look out the window right here and see that the truck mount, we had a couple people walking by, not many, but a couple people walking by. It would have been nice to have like maybe a little sign, a caution cone or something, probably a blue and a green one. I need to, probably look into ordering some of those because I'd really like. And there you can see Cole working on another spot, and I'm just doing the extraction underneath that desk there. And Lyndin is maneuvering our hoses around. This is the last little stretch that we cleaned before closing out on this job. Prior to beginning the vacuuming, we did move a couple small pieces of furniture and chairs, obviously, but we decided with Lisa's help to leave all the items that you see here, the bigger items, and telling her that we could easily get underneath the desks without moving those. But some of the other things, like you see a little printer to the left there, we decided to leave that, and the table up against that wall. But overall, we moved, everything small that we could move just onto the tiled area. I didn't get a good shot of that for you guys, but this office probably has an additional 30% more room than what's shown here. So again, it did accommodate the business after hours pretty well. But almost 90 people was a very, very packed house. And there you can see Lisa. She's kind of checking it out, talking to me a little bit. We did have time to chat a little bit after the job as well, and she set up an estimate for us to come by and do an estimate for her home, actually. And I didn't know it at the time, but at business after hours, I was able to meet her husband, and I immediately recognized him. And apparently back when I was in the Navy, which I got out the end of 2008, but at some point, he and I worked in the same building when I was an instructor. I worked in a building called the Trident Training Facility. It's actually the fifth largest building owned by the Department of Defense in the world. That was my one and only shore duty. I really enjoyed it. I taught sea school, and I also was in team trainer. So you can see here Cole has grabbed the grooming brush and he's grooming out all the lines as we finish. We kind of like to overlap each other if you haven't figured that out. While one person's finishing one step, the other people are usually preparing for, or basically taking care of, the following steps. So another really neat thing about Modern Woodmen that I was completely unaware of until we attended the Business After Hours last month was just how much they do for the community in terms of giving back. It's always been a passion of ours to give back to the local community, and it was really nice to see that Lisa and her team at Modern Woodmen here in Kingsland feel the same way and really do an incredible job of recognizing local heroes and pouring back in to the community that's obviously done so much for their business. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to leave a comment below of your favorite part. This is my favorite part, watching the water come out. Wasn't a whole lot of water, but as you can tell by the color, and you can't smell it unfortunately because that would give you a whole nother great appreciation, but we definitely did a good job in pulling out a lot of the soiling that was left behind after we vacuumed. And of course, no video would be complete without me staring straight into the camera as I devour an entire pound of asparagus. This pound worked out to be about 4.5 servings of asparagus. Again, one of my favorite vegetables, ranks right up there with broccoli. Love spinach, I love kale, I love Brussels sprouts, but also asparagus. So asparagus, if you didn't know, is chock slam full of vitamin A, C, E, and K. It's also, just like broccoli, very high in fiber and folate. Another commonly unknown thing about asparagus actually is that it has a trace mineral called chromium, which enhances the ability of insulin to transfer glucose from the bloodstream into the cells, which is really cool if you're actually keeping an eye on your blood sugar, which I'm not at all. But if you are, you should eat some more asparagus and drink a lot more water. This is, it's not even noon on Saturday, and I've already drank an entire gallon of water. So thank you guys so much for watching.